A legendary career draws to a close. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into the life of the legendary Mireille Mathieu, a true icon of French music whose career has spanned over 6 decades. From her humble beginnings to her status as a beloved legend of French pop, she recently bid farewell to a remarkable 60-year journey. What exactly happened? Let's dive straight in. A tribute to letting go after 60 years, Mireille Mathieu, often nicknamed the Sparrow of Avignon, has left an indelible mark on the music world. Her influence reaches far beyond the French-speaking world, touching an international audience. She is celebrated for her powerful voice and moving performances, often compared to those of Edith Piaf, who served as a major inspiration throughout her career. The announcement of a final global tour. There is bittersweet news for all of Mireille Mathieu's fans. The beloved French singer is preparing to say her final goodbyes to the stage at the age of 77. She plans to embark on a worldwide farewell tour in 2025 to celebrate her incredible 60-year career in the spotlight. This tour will include several performances in German-speaking countries across Europe, allowing her to connect with her fans one last time. Mireille told the newspaper Bild that her life as a touring artist is coming to an end. Planning for the 2024 tour took over a year, giving her plenty of time to make this momentous decision. This farewell tour is more than just an ending. It is a tribute to her legacy, honoring the countless fans who have supported her throughout her remarkable journey. Reflections on health and success at 78. Known as the Lady of Avignon in France and the Sparrow of Avignon in German-speaking countries, Mireille has sold an incredible 190 million records during her illustrious career. As she approaches her 78th birthday, she reflects on her life choices. She attributes the secret to her success to her healthy lifestyle. The main reason for my success, she says, is that I have always eaten very healthily. I've never smoked. I only have a glass of champagne on special occasions, and I avoid direct sun. Even at her age, Mireille expresses her happiness, declaring that she feels completely useful and doesn't feel 78 at all. She appreciates everything fresh and new, singing for an hour every day, and striving to stay in peak condition. Sentimental choices for the final performances. Looking back on her musical career, she feels nothing but gratitude. I was able to live my dream fully, meet fascinating people, and see the entire world, she says. She remembers her very first public performance in Avignon in 1964, when she won a singing contest that changed her life forever. This farewell tour will be titled "Goodbye, My Love, Goodbye." Although it wasn't her biggest hit, it remains one of her favorite songs. Mireille first performed it alongside Peter Alexander and later recorded it with Florian Silbereisen, making it a sentimental choice for her final performances. After retiring, Mireille plans to continue living in Paris and Avignon, spending her summers on the Côte d'Azur. She hinted that while the major tours are ending, there might still be occasional concerts in her future. But the era of big tours is definitely over. The unwritten love story and the role of Johnny Stark. As she prepares to say her goodbyes, Mireille Mathieu leaves behind a legacy spanning decades, a journey filled with love, music, and unforgettable moments shared with fans worldwide. Despite her illustrious career, her love life never seemed complete. At 77, she still lives with her sister, having never married or had children, and considers her grandchildren as her own. However, her relationship with her manager, Johnny Stark, continues to raise questions among fans and the media. What role did Johnny Stark truly play in her life? Perhaps organizing shows and producing records for Mathieu was his first love. The legendary singer has neither confirmed nor denied these rumors, typically remaining silent. Yet it's widely known that Stark was the essential pillar of her rise to superstardom. He even designed every detail of her look, from her jewelry to the famous bob haircut that women worldwide adored. His devotion sparked many questions, to which Mathieu simply stated that Johnny Stark was her wonderful angel. He lived for her, and she lived for him. The first failed engagement in the 1980s. She experienced the bittersweet nature of love and the desire for companionship, having nearly married twice. Her first engagement occurred in the 1980s when she began a passionate relationship with a wealthy and famous businessman. In 1983, as their romance blossomed, the couple got engaged, and their future seemed promising. However, Mathieu was blindsided by her fiancé's views on starting a family. He suggested that she should retire from singing to focus on raising children. This weighed heavily on her, and just 3 days before the wedding, the legendary singer made the courageous decision to call off the engagement, choosing her career and independence over a life she wasn't ready for. A second chance at love and another canceled wedding. In the 1980s, Mathieu fell in love again, this time with the charismatic Guerlain Olivier Echaud de Maison, a cosmetics expert renowned for working with high-profile clients like Wallace Simpson. The couple was often seen together, projecting an image of romance and elegance. However, just as she began ordering her wedding dress, history repeated itself. Mathieu once again canceled the wedding, leaving her dreams of marriage unfulfilled, though the details of this relationship remain private. Despite these personal setbacks, Mireille Mathieu continues to dazzle as a celebrated artist, captivating hearts with her golden voice while navigating the complexities of love and fame with grace. Facing the loss of a mentor and father figure, following the death of Johnny Stark in 1989, Mireille faced one of her most difficult personal challenges. Stark, her longtime manager and friend, died of a heart attack. Known for his intense dedication and rigid management style, Stark often pushed himself to the extreme to ensure her success. This lifestyle, combined with stress and long hours, took a toll on his heart. Their bond was deep. He was not only her manager but a father figure, especially after her fame drew her away from the comforts of her hometown and family. When Stark passed away, Mireille fell into a deep depression, overwhelmed by loss. His death was not only heartbreaking but disorienting, as she suddenly had to navigate her career without his steady hand. Navigating the dark times and legal complications, Stark's passing left behind a complex and tangled estate, leading to financial and legal complications. It took Mireille and her legal team several years to resolve these issues, a task that weighed heavily on her grieving heart. She later described this period as one of the darkest of her life, explaining how she spiraled into depression while facing the harsh reality of managing her own business for the first time. Despite this, Mireille found strength in her family, particularly her sister Mathilde, who moved into her villa in Neuilly-sur-Seine. With Mathilde's support, Mireille gradually rediscovered her joy. Stark's departure marked the end of an era, but also the start of a new chapter as she began taking control of her career in a way she never had before. Taking control and finding independence. She became more involved in the business side of her music and learned to assert herself in the industry. Mireille's career continued to thrive, including a triumphant return to the Palais des Congrès in 1990. During this time, she ended her business relationship with Nadine Joubert, Stark's assistant, after realizing that some close to her had mismanaged her finances. Mathieu stated that she discovered people she trusted had stolen from her, so she fired everyone. Her sister Monique took over as her business manager. Despite the emotional upheaval, Mireille's passion for music never wavered. She organized concerts, including a landmark performance at the Palais des Congrès in Paris. Reaffirming her bond with her audience and proving her star power remained as strong as ever. A triumphant return and musical innovation. In the early 1990s, she made a triumphant return with albums dedicated to her idol, Edith Piaf. The French album Mireille Mathieu Chante Piaf was a massive success, selling over 100,000 copies and marking a milestone in her post-Stark career. Mireille also embraced new musical styles, collaborating with various artists and exploring different genres. Her 1995 album, Vous lui direz, featured fresh, contemporary songs and was well received, highlighting her versatility as an artist. By the late 1990s, she continued to innovate, releasing albums like Alle nur ein Spiel, which introduced modern sounds into her repertoire. Humble beginnings and the spark of a dream. Born in 1946 in France, Mireille Mathieu was the eldest in a family of stonemasons spanning generations. Despite living in poverty, her indomitable spirit propelled her to become a legend in the French music scene. Her passion for music was partly influenced by her father Roger, who had dreamed of being a singer himself. Since his own father had disapproved, he encouraged one of his children to sing with him at church. Her first performance was at a Christmas Eve midnight mass when she was only 4 years old, for which she was rewarded with a lollipop. A turning point came when a young Mireille heard the great Edith Piaf on the radio in the family kitchen. From that day on, she began to sing constantly. Overcoming childhood struggles and school challenges. Mathieu faced challenges in primary school due to dyslexia, which resulted in her repeating a year. Her teacher didn't care for Mimi, the little girl who only wanted to sing and wouldn't pay attention in class. Unable to handle the headstrong girl, the teacher would make her perform exercises at the blackboard to show the class how poorly she wrote and how she solved math problems with her left hand. She was often struck on the hand with a ruler whenever she was caught using her left hand. Eventually, she adapted to using her right, although she remained naturally left-handed, especially while singing. Blessed with a remarkable memory, she never used a teleprompter during her performances. Mireille struggled in school until 1961, when she made the graceful yet firm decision to leave for good. Factory work and a prophetic tarot reading. After her family moved to Croix des Oiseaux, Mathieu began working at a local factory in Montfavet to help support her family and pay for singing lessons. Loved by her colleagues, she often sang during lunch breaks or while working. When the factory closed, Mathieu and her two sisters worked as youth counselors at a summer camp. That summer, an old fortune teller read her tarot cards and predicted she would soon be among kings and queens, a prophecy she held dear. Pursuing her talent, Mathieu began her career in an annual Avignon singing contest called On chante dans mon quartier. The tiny stage was shared with a grand piano and musicians, but talent scouts made the event a draw for singers from hundreds of miles away. Early competitions and the road to Paris. In her early years, Mathieu trained privately with Madame Laure Collier, a piano teacher in Avignon. Known for her determination, Mathieu was drawn to mature love songs, which often shocked audiences who found them too bold for a young girl. This boldness cost her early victories. In 1962, she lost to Michel Thor, and in 1963, she lost again singing Piaf's Hymne à l'amour. But in 1964, she triumphed with the Piaf classic La Vie en Rose. This victory granted her an incredible opportunity, a trip to Paris and an audition for the popular TV talent show Jeu de la Chance. Raoul Colombe, the deputy mayor of Avignon, organized her participation and covered her travel costs. The meeting that changed everything during the audition, dressed in black like Piaf, Mathieu sang with all her heart. But her Provençal accent drew mockery from the studio audience, and her dyslexia caused her to stumble over words. These were struggles she had faced since childhood. A year later, a chance meeting changed everything. Raoul Colombe, her first manager, added her to the bill for an Enrico Macias concert, where she met Johnny Stark. Stark, with his refined manners and powerful presence, seemed so American to Mathieu and her father that they nicknamed him the American. The partnership sparked immediate comparisons to Colonel Tom Parker and Elvis Presley. Many credit Stark with transforming her into a superstar and the worthy heir to Piaf. The ruthless path to becoming a star. Johnny Stark saw incredible talent in her, but upon signing, he issued a warning. Remember, you are a beginner. I am going to work like a madman. I will let nothing pass. I will be ruthless. Think about it. There's still time to say no. If you listen, work, and don't rush, I will make you a true star. He knew she would succeed because she was a fighter who viewed singing as essential. Mireille was placed with conductor Paul Moriat, who taught her control. Then came the grueling rehearsals, photo shoots, and interviews, all attended by Stark, along with music, dance, French, and English lessons. Stark maintained that her rapid rise to fame wasn't a miracle. It was because she truly loved the work. The electrifying debut in the City of Light. In November 1965, Mireille finally got her shot in Paris. After months of waiting for word from Johnny Stark, she accepted an offer to perform in Song Parade. While preparing, she learned she would appear live on Jeu de la Chance, the popular talent segment of Télédimanche, just 2 days later. She knew this was her moment. That night, her performance was electrifying. Although public votes initially showed a slight lead over the champion, Georgette Lemaire, the judges called it a draw. Stark, watching closely, stepped in as her manager to prepare her so she would win the following week. He succeeded. The rivalry between Stark and Lemaire's manager added even more drama, and together they became an unbeatable team. Moving beyond imitation to find a unique voice reflecting on her early days in Paris, she admits, Paris felt like the end of the world. I had never taken a train or seen a camera. I had no idea where this would lead. Stark recognized her potential, famously stating, "She has everything to learn, walking, breathing, articulating, but no one must ever touch that voice." During her 7 consecutive appearances on Télé Dimanche, a concert at the Olympia propelled her to stardom. International media hailed her as the Piaf of Avignon. However, not all was perfect. Mathieu recalled, "I was so focused on imitating my idol that I thought I couldn't do anything else. It was one of the biggest disappointments of my life." Stark saw the struggle and ordered her to stop listening to Piaf. "You are not her," he said. "Express yourself." Global stardom and meeting musical legends, Stark believed Mathieu needed to sing, speak, and observe the audience's reaction to find her own voice. Collaborating with lyricist André Pascal and composer Paul Moria, she created a unique style with hits like Mon Credo, Viens dans ma rue, and La Première Étoile. Her first live album from the Olympia was a massive success, making her a star far beyond France. Her record label, Barclay, claimed they controlled 40% of the French pop market. By the late 60s, Mathieu was performing on world stages, from the London Palladium for Queen Elizabeth II to the Ed Sullivan Show in the US. She even crossed paths with legends like Elvis Presley, Dean Martin, and Frank Sinatra. Lifting her family out of poverty, she adapted to the repertoire of every country, singing in many languages. Each performance solidified her place as a global icon. Adored by both everyday people and world leaders, she has been received by sovereigns and heads of state globally. Yet the stage is where she feels most at home. In 1966, she toured relentlessly. During a car ride between shows, Stark told her she was finally debt-free and worth over £1 million. Her dream had come true. She could lift her family out of poverty. She stated that her first major purchases were a vehicle for her father's business and a large home for her parents and siblings. Personal sacrifices and surviving accidents. The most important thing for her was installing a telephone for her family, so her parents wouldn't have to use the pharmacy's phone to speak with her while she was in Paris. Her only regret was missing the chance to see her grandmother, Germaine, in the hospital before she died due to tour commitments. Over the years, even as musical tastes shifted toward rock and English pop, Mireille remained a beloved icon. Although her family accumulated wealth, much of the recording profits went to musicians. Her income came primarily from live performances and TV. In 1968, her career was nearly cut short by a car accident that fractured a vertebra. During recovery, she even received a threatening letter, though no foul play was ever found. Expanding the business and making history in China. In 1971, Johnny Stark signed a major deal with Philips Records, leading to a legal battle with Barclay. Stark suffered his first heart attack in 1972 while preparing for her Canadian tour, but his dedication never wavered. Through the 70s and 80s, Mireille expanded her career, founding publishing houses Abilene Music and Abilene Disc, managed by her sisters. In 1986, she made history as one of the first Western artists to perform in China, an event broadcast on French TV. She continued to evolve, collaborating with various artists. Her 1995 album Vous lui direz featured contemporary songs that highlighted her versatility as an artist, a lasting legacy of dedication to the art. By the late 90s, she continued to innovate with albums like Alle nur ein Spiel, bringing modern sounds to her repertoire. One reason for her lasting impact is her unwavering dedication to her art. Despite personal trials, she never stopped delivering powerful performances that resonate with her audience. Thank you for joining us. Her journey has clearly been one of triumphs and sacrifices. What do you think? Did she make the right choice prioritizing her career over marriage? Let us know in the comments below. If this story changed your perspective on the stage legends, please subscribe and like this video. We're uncovering the history they tried to bury. Let's plant the seeds for the future. The next treasure will be revealed soon.